So I just got to take a second and process as I'm cutting this grass over here. The last catalyst that I chose, because free will and accountability, chose to help me. I chose that experience innately to help me expand past dogmatic taught conformity. This child had a whole bunch of things done to them as a child, as the eternal infinite child that they still are, even if they want to claim that restrictive age title as adult, choosing to do the mundane tasks that another energy deems necessary for your life, and the slavery, wage labor wars, and all that, and bully abusive narratives. I've heard their stories, I've heard them talk on social media about it. Never have they once called their mother, who stuck fecal matter and waste urine in their food as a child and told them about it and made them sick. Not one time have they called them a psycho, escort, witch, nothing. Not one time have they called their father out their name. It's wild how abusers in the Stockholm syndrome, and then we forget that they have a mother and a father. And if you are living with that mother or father, they taught that energy in perpetuation how to abuse you like that. They taught that energy how to choose their wife, husband, by what they were showing them at home. So it's wild to see that I've been called out my name on social media for simply choosing to not conform and live as everyone else does. I never once treated them unkindly. I never once treated them unnurturingly. The only thing I did not do was have money to provide them with the dogmatic consumption and stuff that they want over love, void, dogmas, and conditionings. And that's pretty wild to remember. It's okay. I needed to experience them and that unconditional love, which is steeped in masking, bully, abusive narratives, dis-ease causing perpetuation, and shift talking, pointing fingers when you have 3 to 6 pointing at you, the unaccountability. The only thing that I did unbalanced in that relationship was love every facet of me, void the top dogmatic bully, abuse narratives, and conditionings. And I could get to do that because I needed to experience this person and how they want to pull themselves from and yet still sitting in the same house where they were abused as a child in the exact same frequency, and want to call me a psychopath and an escort and say that I thought they were a model. Turns out they were just an escort. Actually, I've been a 7-time international art model, no matter what that looks like out here. I also don't have any bills. I don't have to pay for food, water, or electric. I'm taking care of myself, and in 10 months I will never have to buy food from a store full of pesticides and chemicals ever again. I have chosen to stop numbing my self-healing infinite being with cannabis consumption, with processed food consumption, with white sugar consumption, with alcohol consumption, with nicotine consumption. I've stopped biting my fingernails. I've stopped popping my knuckles. I have stopped wearing shoes of conformity that are harming how my skeletal structure was birthed into this space to be. I've stopped conforming. I've stopped calling myself names. I ain't never been ADHD. I ain't never been bipolar. I ain't never been schizophrenic. What I was projected upon by infinite beings who hate facets of themselves, who were taught to hate facets of themselves, and romanticized bully, abusive narratives and taught dogmatic conditionings. They didn't accept the fact that I'm a multifaceted, multidimensional, multilingual, eternally limitless soul that's full of innate magic, creativity, and abundance, having this expansive, physical, and energetic experience. They hated me because I was a child who chose to imagine more, and I was put on chemicals, pharmaceuticals. I got to this woman's house and I was this size, and I was called a malnourished child. Actually, I wasn't. While Jenny might have beat the crap out of my physical body, she wasn't feeding me processed foods to where I was inflamed. Within a season of being in foster care, I was 200 pounds, and I stayed that way until I chose to start experiencing existence differently. And then I was living with friends, non-mutual bonds of affection, because a friend is a mutual bond of affection. If you are nurturing each other, that's a friend. If you're speaking shift about each other, wasting food in your refrigerator, having somebody stay in your house, they helped me tear away from processed food. I thank them. The catalyst before them helped me tear away from alcoholism. and every religious holiday ceremony and ritualistic dogma, that's all you do is drink, eat processed food, and talk shift about each other. And give gifts that you don't even want to be given. Consuming stuff. Expressing and bully abusive narratives. So I'm okay with being here with me, because I'm the most nurturing energy I've ever met in this existence. And the fact that I allowed and didn't speak shift, I was called a psycho online, which is cruel, unbalanced, and a couple other things. When it turns out, internal manifests external. They were only talking about facets of themselves and how they choose to sit in conformative, perpetual, dogmatic, bully, abusive narratives. Thank you for helping me see me eternally. And truthfully, I went to them. Claiming these restrictive titles and dogmatic, bully, abusive narratives will keep you in restrictive titles, dogmatic, bully, abusive narratives. Keep being a queen all you want to, and you will stay in those dogmatic, bully, abusive narratives. Keep wanting to be a king all you want to, and you will stay in those dogmatic, bully, abusive narratives. Keep wanting to be an adult. If you are taking care of yourself, providing yourself with whatever you consider food, water, and shelter to be, you can call yourself whatever you want. But when you're claiming the restrictive title of adult, you are choosing to do the mundane task that another energy deems necessary for your life as a one in infinity, infinite being. And I claim the shift, and I transmute all the shift. I'm a one in infinity, infinite being. An eternal, infinite child. You know why I claim this? Expansively for my deoxyribonucleic acid and intuition? Because a child continuously grows. When you get to be a grown up, you stop growing. You stop remembering. You stop having fun. You choose to do what other people consider as fun. And half the time that's drinking and spending money on some vacation, when a delinquent tax sale can get you an acre and a half of land for $1,000 and you'll be paying rent of $200 for the rest of your existence. And you could build a food forest and never have to pay for food ever again. You can spend $2,000 and have a well of clean water that's not tainted with forever chemicals and never have to pay for water again. But instead we choose this slavery, because it's still slavery. Every person, it ain't just what you want to call colors. Every infinite being in this existence is choosing some type of perpetual dogmatic slavery. I don't care if your parents taught you how to do it. You're a one in infinity, infinite being. Unless you want to live like them, steeped in dis-ease, bully, abusive narratives, talking shift about what you're choosing in your life, choose something new. Choose something nurturing. And so thank you. Because before them, I hadn't yet remembered on a physical level to where I could state that I'm healed, whole, and complete here now. I had yet to be able to state that I have a calm system. Call your nervous system what you want. I got a calm system that heals. That shift, that's irregular. What? In the rituals. I had yet to remember and experience the fact that I can go through Vietnamese and speak Vietnamese fluently and read it already, and I'm not even done with the 44 bemoorings the Rosetta Stone chooses that are necessary to remember Vietnamese. Because why? Children are multilingual from womb. We could do all kinds of things if our parents didn't choose restrictions. So now I transmute every restriction, every perpetuation. I'm not going to conform to fit in with you or yours.